Welcome to this program brought to you by the Administrative Simplification Group in the Office of eHealth Standards and Services in the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. My name is Kari Gar, and today we will walk through the enumeration process for Subhealth plans. There are two ways that a Subhealth plan can be enumerated. First, the controlling health plan could obtain an HPID on behalf of its SHIP. Or second, the SHIP could obtain an HPID for itself. We will explain both ways in this presentation. If you are interested in learning more about the Health Plan Identifier policy and requirements, or how to apply for an HPID for a controlling health plan, or how to apply for an other entity identifier, please see the video presentations that are posted on the CMS HPID website. We'll start today by discussing how a user will access the health plan and other entity enumeration system, which we call HIPPOs, and then we'll walk through the steps on how to obtain an HPID for a Subhealth plan. First, we will show you how to access HIPPOs. HIPPOs resides within the Health Insurance Oversight System, which we refer to as HIOS, and we'll discuss throughout the presentation. You will use the CMS Enterprise Portal to access HIOS. All new users will need to register in the Enterprise Portal to obtain a user ID and password. The Enterprise Portal registration requests personally identifiable information, including Social Security number, date of birth, home address, and primary phone number. Here is a screenshot of the CMS Enterprise Portal. If you already have an account, you can click on the button by the first red arrow to log in to the CMS Secure Portal. Otherwise, you will need to click on the link for new user registration by the second red arrow. Once users have been granted access to both the CMS Enterprise Portal and HIOS, users will be able to navigate to the HIOS homepage. Next, we'll provide a high-level overview of how to complete a Subhealth Plan HPID application. As you can see from the graphic on the screen, there are 6 different steps of the application process. Step 1, you register the organization. Step 2, you get access to the organization through user role management. Step 3, you select an application type. Step 4, you complete and submit the application. Step 5, the application is reviewed by the authorizing official. And Step 6, once the application is approved, the HPID is assigned. Each step in the graphic will be highlighted as we walk through the process in greater detail. The first step is registering the organization in HIOS. To begin the application process, you will need to register the organization within HIOS. We currently have a large database of organizations in the system. If your organization already exists in HIOS, you may proceed directly to Step 2 of the application process, which we will discuss next. In order to determine if your organization is registered, you can search by their federal EIN. Once the system has verified that the organization is not in HIOS, you will be able to register your organization. Please note that all registration requests are reviewed prior to being accepted into HIOS. Next, we will walk through how to register an organization. You'll begin by navigating to the HIOS homepage and clicking on the Manage an Organization button. You'll need to enter the organization's federal EIN and click the Search button. If no results are returned, you will be able to register the company by clicking on the Create Company button. Next, you will need to provide the required information to register the company. You will have the opportunity to review the company information and submit the request. On this page, you'll receive confirmation of your submission. Additionally, you will receive an email notification once the request is approved. Here is a summary of the information required to register a new company. Now we will discuss Step 2, accessing HIOS user role management. As we mentioned earlier, if your organization already exists in HIOS, you may skip Step 1 and proceed directly to Step 2. There are 3 different user roles for HIPPOs. The first type is guest users. This role is for those who want the ability to view general HIPPOs information but do not need to submit or approve an application. The submitter user is a representative of a health plan or other entity that needs the ability to submit an HPID or OEID application. The authorizing official user is a company executive that has the authority to approve applications, including CEOs and CFOs. If you are requesting submitter or authorizing official access, you will also need to identify the company you wish to be granted access to through HIOS user role management. Unlike submitter users, authorizing officials are not required to come into the system through user role management. Authorizing officials can also be identified through the application process to gain access into HIOS. Finally, please note that users can only have access to one HIPAA role at a time. Next, we will walk through the process for requesting access through user role management. You'll begin by navigating to the HIOS homepage and clicking on the Role Management button. You will click on the Request Role tab, select HIPAA from the module dropdown, and then select your role. Once you have made your selections, you will click Continue. Next, you will need to search for the federal EIN of the company for which you would like to receive access for, and click the Search button. The company and federal EIN results will display, and you will click the Review Continue button to proceed with the request. You will then have the opportunity to review the requested role and submit your request. On this page, you'll receive confirmation of your submission. Additionally, you will receive an email notification once the request is approved. We will now review Step 3, accessing HIPAA and selecting an application type. At this point, we know your company exists in HIOS and your access and user role management has been approved. If you are applying for an HPID, you will need to determine if you are completing an application for a controlling health plan or a Subhealth plan. If you wish to submit a SHIP application, you will not be able to complete an application if your CHIP is not in HIPAA. To navigate to the HIPAA module, you will select the HIPAA button on the HIOS homepage. If you are registered as a submitter user, you will be taken to the submitter user homepage, which is seen on this slide. All functions are displayed on the left-hand side. We are now on Step 4, where we'll discuss how to complete and submit an application. Once you have determined which type of application you will need to complete, you may begin the HIPAA application process. As part of the CHIP HPID as well as the OEID application workflow, you will need to identify the company's authorizing official if there is not already one designated in HIPAA. Since we are applying for the SHIP HPID, we will not provide an authorizing official, as all SHIP HPID applications will be reviewed by the authorizing official of the CHIP. Next, we will discuss the Subhealth Plan HPID application. To complete a SHIP application, a CHIP will need to be selected. This means that the company has already been identified as a CHIP in HIPAA and been assigned an HPID. There are two different ways to apply for a SHIP HPID. All users can select the Apply for SHIP's HPID button from the home page. Additionally, if users have been granted access to the CHIP company through user role management, they can opt to apply for their SHIP's HPIDs from the CHIP's profile summary page. The main difference between these two paths is that when applying from the home page, the user will need to identify the CHIP, whereas when applying from the CHIP's profile summary page, the system will pre-populate the CHIP selection. We will walk through both workflows in the next few slides. Here we see the submitter user homepage, where you can click on the Apply for SHIP HPIDs button under either the CHIP or SHIP function sections. Once you select the button, you will be navigated to the CHIP identification page. This is the page where you will be able to select your CHIP from the drop-down or search for the CHIP by its HPID number. Alternatively, you may apply for a SHIP HPID from the Profile Summary page. Please note that the Apply for SHIP's HPIDs button is disabled on the Profile Summary page until an HPID has been assigned to the CHIP. In this screenshot, the button is disabled since the HPID has not yet been assigned. Once the chip's HPID has been assigned, you will see that the Apply for Ship HPIDs button has been enabled, as shown in this slide. When the user applies from the chip profile summary page, the system will identify the chip based on the profile being accessed. For both SHIP HPID application workflows discussed, the next step in the process is selecting the Subhealth plan type. There are 5 different SHIP types: company, issuer, product, line of business, and other category. The company, issuer, and product information are pulled from existing data stored in the HIOS database. This means that if you are going to complete an application for any of those 3 types, the information will already need to exist in HIOS. These 3 categories are interconnected. For example, in order to select an issuer, the company first needs to exist in HIOS. For a product application type, the issuer and company must be in the system. We'll talk about this more as we walk through each application type. The line of business and other categories are different from the other 3 in the sense that they are created within the HIPPOS application itself. Next, we'll walk through the steps to complete a company-level SHIP HPID application, as well as highlight the information needed for the other types of SHIP HPID applications, as they all follow a similar workflow. We'll begin with the company-level application. You will need to select the company type. You will then be prompted to confirm your selection, which includes the SHIP category and controlling health plan name. Next, you will need to select the company you wish to complete an application for. Again, the companies available in the drop-down are based on those you have been granted access to through the user role management process. Similar to the CHIP HPID application, you will also need to provide the health plan's NAIC number or payer ID, which is required for all SHIP HPID application types. Once the company is selected, the company's information will display, pulling from the HIOS database. The next page of the application displays the CHIP's authorizing official information, as they will be the one reviewing the SHIP application. You are then taken to the application review page where you will be able to submit the application. Finally, you are navigated to the application summary page, where you will receive confirmation of your submission and have the option to apply for additional SHIP HPIDs under the same CHIP. Here is a summary of the information collected for a company-level SHIP HPID application. Next, we will discuss the issuer-level application. To complete an issuer-level SHIP HPID application, first you'll need to select the appropriate company. Once you select the company's information will display on the page. Once the company name has been selected, the existing HIOS issuer records that fall under the selected company will be displayed in the Issuer Information dropdown. At that point, you will be able to select an individual issuer record to use for the issuer-level application. Here is a summary of the information collected for an issuer-level SHIP HPID application. The issuer is identified by its HIOS ID, issuer legal name, and state of business, all of which is retrieved from the HIOS database. If the issuer is not already in the system, it will need to be registered. In this section, we'll describe the process for registering a new issuer in HIOS. Users have the option to select the Manage an Organization button directly from the HIPPOS homepage, but may also select the same button on the HIOS homepage. In order to register a new issuer in HIOS, you will first need to confirm that your company already exists in HIOS. This follows the same process as we described in Step 1 when you register the organization. You begin by searching for the company by its federal EIN and clicking the Search button. Once you verify that your company is in HIOS, you will be able to add an issuer. As you can see from the screenshot on this slide, the company information was retrieved based on the federal EIN entered. The next step is clicking on the Add Issuer button. You will then need to provide the required information. You will have the opportunity to review the information and submit the request. You'll receive confirmation of your submission and will also get an email notification once the request is approved. Here is a summary of the information required to register a new issuer in HIOS. Next, we'll discuss the SHIP HPID application at the product level. The process to complete a product-level SHIP HPID application is similar to the issuer-level application. First, you'll need to select the appropriate company name. The issuer records that fall under the selected company will then display in the drop-down. Next, you will need to select an issuer record from the drop-down. Once an issuer record is selected, the product-level records that relate to the issuer will display in the drop-down. You may then select the product record you wish to use for the product-level application. Here is a summary of the information collected for a product-level SHIP HPID application. The product is identified by its HIOS product ID, product name, product type, and market type, which are all pulled from the HIOS database. Unlike the company or issuer levels, where you can add a record if one does not already exist, only existing HIOS products are currently available for selection in HIPPOs. We'll now discuss the line of business level application. You'll begin by selecting the appropriate company name. Again, the company information is pulled from the HIOS database. You will also need to select a line of business. There are a total of 19 different lines of business types to select from. Additionally, you'll need to provide the product name or brand name. Here is a summary of the information collected for a line of business SHIP HPID application. Finally, we'll discuss the last Subhealth plan type, the Other category. Here is an example of the SHIP HPID application page when the Other category type is selected. This application allows users to select their company as well as enter information about their health plan, including the Other category name. Here is a summary of the information collected for the Other category application type. So, we've discussed how to complete and submit an application. Next, we'll discuss Step 5, Application Review by the Authorizing Official. Once you have submitted your application, the designated authorizing official will receive an email notification to let them know that an application is pending their approval. The authorizing official will need to review the application and will have the option to approve or reject it. The next few screens provide an overview of what the authorizing official sees when they log in to review the application. For purposes of time, we won't review each one and will proceed ahead to the final step of the process. The final step of the process is the assignment of an HPID or OEID number. Once the application is approved by the authorizing official, the system will generate a unique HPID or OEID. An email notification will be sent to the submitter user that it has been approved, as well as the HPID or OEID number generated. Thank you for viewing this video. Please visit the CMS HPID website for more information or to access additional video presentations. If you have any questions, please contact the XOSC Help Desk via email at cms_FEPS@cms.hhs.gov or phone at 1-855-CMS-1515.